position has been given P1, R1, A1. When maxilla and mandible are equal in length and it is posteriorly rotating, in that case there will be either retroocclusion or mesoocclusion. So finally P1N or P1M. If it is neutral rotation, then there will be neutral occlusion only, means normal occlusion only. R1N here. In this case, mandible and maxilla both are normal, but if there is interior rotation, then there will be distal and neutral molar relation. So A1N and A1D. Likewise here, A3M, R3M, P3M, P2D, R2D, A2D. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 morphogenetic category has been found and they have been categorized. So this P2D will come in category 1, A2D and P1N will come in category 2, R2D will come in category 4, R1N will come in category 4, A1D, A1N, R3M, P1M will come in category 5 and A3M, P3M will come as a category 6. Category 6 mandibular growth will be highest, maxillary growth will be least. In category 1, maxillary growth will be highest, mandibular growth will be least. Balance will be 4. 5 is the best category for the function appliance class 2 characters. 5 is the best category for class 2 characters. 4 is also a good category for class 2 characters. So now how to find this cephalometrically? This is given in, you can find in the Petrovic-Lacossi and Graeber book. T1, tier level, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. In T1, expected geogean angle in relation to Sn. How is that found? One formula has been given, 192 minus 2 into SND minus measured geogean to Sn. If that is more than 6, they will come here. If it is 0 to 6 here and less than 6, they will be categorized here. Now T2. T2 is expected palatal plane angle minus measured palatal plane angle. How to find the expected palatal plane angle? That is measured geogean angle by 2 minus 7 and minus this measured palatal plane angle. If this value is less than 3, then here 0 to 3 and less than 0 means if this value is means 0 to 3, here 3 to 0 and T is less than 3. 0 to 3, more than 3 and less than 0. After that T3, then comes the measured A and B. Measured A and B, it is very small here, 1.5, 1.5 to 5.5, 5.5 to 8.5. Based on that you can make it out A3M, A3N, A1D, A2D. So like this all the categories, all those 11 categories are found and based on this you can find your patient falls in which category. So one more exercise you can add in your cephalometric analysis and you can find the oxologic category of your patient and you can select your patient. You can from beginning itself you can select in this patient this function appliance is not going to work, so there is no point of doing the treatment. You can keep that patient for the surgery like orthodontic treatment or the surgery or the camouflage. There is no point of unnecessary wasting time in doing the functional appliance and after that doing the camouflage or anything. So this is the one more analysis you can add and do the oxologic categorization. So the existence of the facial growth category is a fortunate situation because it becomes possible to group the children who are morphologically alike, who grow alike and who are more likely to respond in a similar way to a given type of treatment. It's the biological feature of the mandibular cell which primarily determines the treatment outcome. So basically it is a cellular thing. It is cellular level changing. So you have to detect it at a cellular level only. So this is the indirect method to do that. At tissue and cell level, no mechanical functional appliance can increase the mandibular basic oxological potential. This characteristic of the cell cannot change. No functional